Hello everyone, Cheryl Pounder here, two-time Olympic gold medalist in women's ice hockey a little while ago, 2002, the Olympic Winter Games, and 2006. Of course, I retired in 2008 to have the love of my life, the first one anyway, my first daughter, and had a second in 2010. Really here to talk to you about today my character trait, which is courage. Courage is something that's kind of deep-rooted within me, and it started when I was a little girl with a dream of going to the Olympics. And to me, the dream starts by owning it. And I remember watching the opening ceremonies when I was just an 8-year-old girl and turning to my grandmother and saying, I'm going to be there one day. And it would take the courage to say those words because at the time, girls didn't actually play a lot of hockey. And I'd be ridiculed for a good portion of my early career because I was playing a sport that was typically male dominated. But I remember I turned to my grandmother and I said, I'm going to be there one day. And my grandma just kind of looked at me. And the words she said to me now resonate and sort of sit on this shoulder for me. And she said, Cheryl, if that is what you want, believe in yourself. Give it everything you've got because you'll never know unless you try. So that was the beginning of the courage trait for me because it would sit on this side for me. And it would be a strength that I would turn to throughout my entire career. And even now, when I'm faced with times of adversity or perhaps down on myself, I have to look to this shoulder. Because we also have this side, this side that compromises our courage and weakens us, the side that questions our abilities, the side that says, can you do this? Are you good enough? Why bother? And this side gets pretty loud sometimes when we're in a journey that takes us off our path, or perhaps listening to people that aren't providing us with positive energy. And it gets louder and louder and louder. So really the challenge for me throughout my career was to keep the integrity and focus on this side, the side of courage. One of the greatest tests for me would come after playing on the team for a number of years. The years women's hockey was in the Olympics for the very first time, I was told that I was not going to be going. So essentially I'd been cut. I'd made the team as a young 17-year-old and now I wasn't going 4 years later. My dream that I felt was just quashed, was no longer. And I remember just getting in my room, looking around my bedroom walls, which had words all over them. Courage was one of them. Those words weren't even all spelt right, mind you, because they'd been on my wall since I was 8. And I remember some of those words like commitment and passion and focus. And those words sort of just crumbled. They stayed on the wall, but I didn't really look at them because I was down. I was down. I didn't feel like I had the opportunity to get back up. I thought, why bother? I'm not going to make this team. It's over. The dream is gone. And this negative side was speaking to me in full force. And that is when all of a sudden a teammate, not someone I always hung out with, but someone who decided to have an impact, someone who did something extremely special just from recognizing that I needed something. And that's all it takes sometimes, is one little thing. And sometimes you don't see the impact of your action, just like this girl will never know, unfortunately, what that meant to me when she came and gave me one quote. And that quote said, Cheryl, courage is not defined by those who failed and fell, but by those who failed, fell, and rose again. I remember I would read it over and over and over, and I actually wrote this one down on a piece of paper, and I put it up beside those words on my bedroom, those words of courage, commitment, passion, fun. And I would kind of read it every night, and it took on a new meaning to me. It took on a meaning of, you got to try. It brought me back to this side, this courageous side that, Cheryl, believe in yourself. You'll never know unless you try. Now, of course, the fear is that, maybe I wasn't going to be good enough. And that's a fear that we all face. And sometimes we're not. We're blessed with all different skill sets. But at the end of the day, if you have courage, you're going to find something that you're great at. If you're passion, you're going to work through, you're going to find a way to set goals and get there in some capacity. May not be in the exact straight line that you once thought you'd get there in. Might be a roundabout way. But if you have courage, you have that ability to get up because it's this intrinsic belief in yourself that you can and you will get there. So for me, when I was told that I was going to go to the Olympic Winter Games in 2002, I look back and I reflect on that quote. I look back to this side, my grandma, who said, believe in yourself. And with that courage comes integrity. It comes, values that you have to stand by and stick by morally. And for me, it was a great thing when I got to put on the Team Canada wear, which I'm wearing now, mind you. And I put it on and I held each teammate's hand as we walked into the opening ceremonies. And I remember thinking to myself, Thank goodness I got back up. Thank goodness I just didn't roll up in that ball and give up on myself. So have courage, have belief, have faith, and remember that there's always someone on your side. Even when you feel like there isn't, trust me, there is. My brothers used to always put me in net as a young player, always made me play goaltender. And I would get up, I'd fall, I'd get up, and who was there at the Olympic Winter Games? One of my brothers, crying, screaming at the top of his lungs, "That's my sister, let me at her." And I didn't even know he loved me, so it was amazing. But really, have courage, have belief, and remember, if you don't get there, it's okay. You'll find a way, you'll find your path. But the first thing you need to do is have the internal strength to get back up. So listen to this side on your journey. Make sure that you tell this side to, take a hike. And this will help you endeavor and reach your ultimate goals, your ultimate dreams, just like I did. So courage is not defined by those who failed and fell, but by those who failed, fell, and rose again. Go get them.